All right, well, welcome back. We have Louis Panzer here today with us from North Carolina 811, who is here answering all your questions about what to know before you start digging. And Louis, looks like we have a few questions here for you. Let's start with this one. What sorts of utilities are not covered by North Carolina 811?
So that's a great question. So private lines, what we consider to be private lines, are lines that are on your property that are not serving you from, let's say, an energy company or a telecommunications company. They solely exist on your property. Those are considered private lines. And those private lines will not be marked by any of the providers. We do have a list on our website at nc811.org of private line locators that provide those services for those types of facilities.
And the second part to that question, and who do you, and you probably just answered it too, who do you contact to find those buried lines a little bit as well?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different folks that's what they do is locating facilities. And again, we maintain a list on our website of private line locators and their contact information. So best thing to do is look at that list, see if there's somebody, local to you, reach out, maybe get a couple of estimates, and then you'll be able to get those things marked.
How about this one? What happens if I dug and I hit some utility?
So in North Carolina, it's required that if you hit something, you want to report the damage both to NC811, and you can do that by calling 811 to report it. You also have an obligation to report it to the actual facility that you hit. Don't try to cover it up. Depending on what you hit, of course, it can be very risky. We want people to avoid that at all costs. Don't hit gas lines, don't hit electric lines. And increasingly, telecommunications, especially with the fiber, extremely expensive to repair and replace. So just avoid it if you can. But if you do strike something, and especially if you hit a gas line and there's a gas release, you want to get upwind to safety. You don't want to introduce any kind of a spark or anything like that and if the gas is flowing from that, you call 911 first before you do anything else.
And this question is kind of in the same family of that previous question. Can I get in trouble if I don't call you guys and I messed something up?
I mean, there is an actual enforcement board in North Carolina for folks that violate the statute. Again, the 811 process is covered under a state statute with obligations for the people who are digging and the owners who own those facilities and the notification center, which is us. So yes, you could conceivably be billed for the damage. You could be fined if you were found that you were digging without a ticket. And a complaint was filed against you, and those violations can be up to $2,500 per incident.
Moving into tickets, how do I check the status of my ticket in your system?
So that's great. So we have a thing called Positive Response, and you can look that up online. You can, at the end of your 3 full business days, you'll get an email if you provided your address to us with a list of all those operators and what their status is. If an operator has not responded within the 3 full days, there'll be what's called a 999 code there. And if you see that and you know that there's something in the area, we request that you contact us for a 3-hour notice to give those operators 3 hours to come out and mark that. It's very important that you verify what you have on the ticket with what is actually on the ground as well. Look for those marks. The operators are obligated to put their ID down on the marks. So you'll see a code on each of those tickets for each of those members. You want to try to match that code to what's on the ground to make sure that everybody has indeed marked or told you that they were not in conflict.
And if you could answer this in just 15 seconds, maybe, how long are tickets valid for when someone makes a request?
15 seconds is perfect. They're valid for 15 working days. If your work is going to extend past 15 working days, we ask that you update the ticket 3 days prior to that thing expiring so you can keep a live ticket for your work.
All right, Louis, thank you so much.
Yay.
Well, if you missed anything today, be sure to head over to WFMYnews2.com and click in the 2 Wants to Know section.